Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Jerry Boykin, and I spent most of my adult life in the United States Army. 36 plus years of my life I spent in the Army. Thank you. That's great, because that was a Marine that started clapping for me. But the Army is built on teamwork. All our services are built on teamwork. People willing to work together, to sacrifice for one another, to do whatever it takes to accomplish the mission, but most of all, to take care of each other. In the 11th chapter of the book of Genesis, as God looked down at the Tower of Babel being built, he said something very important and something that we need to keep in mind. He said, those people are one, meaning they're united. They can do anything. Let's go down and confuse them. What if the church was united? What if the church could get beyond the racial divide? What if the church could get beyond the socio-economic divide? What if the church could get beyond, of all things, don't throw me out, Bishop, doctrinal differences? Is it premillennial, mid-trib, or post-trib, or who cares? Just be ready. Because I spent most of my life in the military, I tell war stories. I'm going to tell you one very quickly. Frank Brewer was a Marine helicopter pilot. In 1982, he went to the Armed Forces Staff College and discovered that there was an Army guy there in his class that grew up only a few miles from him, and they became instant buddies. They were like brothers throughout that year in the Armed Forces Staff College, and at the end of the summer they brought their families together and they enjoyed their time together at the Tidewater region of Virginia at Busch Gardens, and then they separated, and Frank said to his Army buddy, he said, I'm going to Beirut. I'll see you when I come home. We'll come and visit again with our families. And as Frank's convoy was on the way to Beirut, they were diverted to a little island in the Caribbean called Grenada, where Ronald Reagan had said, go into this island and take that island away from the Cubans and the communists and turn it back over to the people of Grenada and rescue 1,000 American medical students that are being held hostage there. As Frank's convoy, the fleet of ships pulled in off the coast of Grenada, that little island, on the morning of the 25th of October, 1983, as the sun came up on the island of Grenada, an invasion started, and all the helicopters that belonged to Frank and his squadron took off and went ashore, leaving Frank and one man, his maintenance officer, behind. Because, see, Frank was the executive officer. He didn't get to fly. He didn't get to go on the invasion. He didn't get to go where the action was, but suddenly and early that morning after the invasion was about an hour into progress, a call came over the radio. The whole net. Medevac, medevac, medevac. We got a man down. We got a man down. Can anybody fly a medevac? We got a man that's not going to make it. Can anybody fly a medevac? We got to get him out in a hurry. Frank turned to his maintenance officer and he said, what do we have to fly? His maintenance officer said, nothing. He said, they all went ashore. They're all gone. Come on, there's got to be something left on board. He said, well, there's the old Hangar Queen. He said, will it fly? No, you can't fly it. It's in maintenance. He said, that's not what I asked you. Will it fly? He said, no, you can't fly it. It's against the rule. Will it fly? Sir, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. If you fly that helicopter, you're going to get in trouble. He said, there's a man dying. I'm going to get him. He said, you bring it out here on deck. You get in the co-pilot seat. I'll fly it. I'm responsible. He brought it on deck. They got in, he fired it up, and he went in, and as he went in to pick up that casualty that was dying, he looked down, and as they brought him out, it was his Army buddy. That was his Army buddy. He didn't know who he was going to get. You see, I'm real glad that Frank was willing to throw aside what uniform that man wore. He didn't ask that question. He didn't ask not only, is he one of us? Is he a Marine? Is he Army? He didn't say, how much trouble can I get in? What will they do? What's the worst thing they can do to me? He didn't ask any of those questions. He said, there's a man dying. We're going to get him. There's a country dying. There's a church dying. We're going to get him or not? Well, we can't do it if we're divided, if we're not reconciled. It is my great privilege to introduce to you one of the finest men that I know. His family is originally from Orange County, Virginia. And the only flaw in this man's whole character is the fact that he was a Marine. Other than that, he is a dear friend. He's one of the best orators I've ever heard of. He's got the best story of what a father in a man's life can do. What a change, what a difference it can make. It is my dear brother, my brother in arms, my brother in Christ, Bishop E.W. Jackson. Help me welcome.